Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Weekly Bytes. Today is June 26, 2020, and yes, you're right, yeah, I know. We're closing in on halfway through 2020. Can't believe it, and at the same time, can't say that I missed the first half. 2020, almost half gone. Let's get to the news. So, I told you all last week that Apple was going to have an event this week, and they did. And oh boy, did they ever. Because they waited almost until the end. I mean, they dropped some big things on here. We got iOS 14, we got iPad OS updates, we got Watch OS 7, we got tons of new things. We got full screen music app, finally. The ability to pin your iMessage conversations. So if there are a couple people or 5 people that you keep in contact with the most, and you want them always at the top of your list, you can pin them so that they're always at the top of your iMessage list. Pretty cool. We got macOS Big Sur. We got our first look at the new version of macOS. But all of that compared to what Apple decided to announce, and I know we were kind of expecting it. Many of us didn't quite believe it, but Apple is going back to in-house silicon. That's right. They announced that starting this fall, there will be a 2-year transition away from Intel CPUs in all of their laptop and desktop products. What does that mean for you? It means custom designed silicon. Much like you get in an iPad or an iPhone. And there are only so many words that I can say, but it's good for you because it means that everything will be custom designed. Apple's ability to create a closed ecosystem, one that focuses on bringing the best possible user experience, is coming to your workstation. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Apple is making sure that all of the apps are going to be cross-platform compatible between an x86 Intel chip and the new Apple Silicon. They did demo. Microsoft is already working on a copy of Office for the new Silicon. Adobe Creative Suite is already partially running. At least they demoed Photoshop. Didn't see the rest of it. But needless to say, it's packed full of things. We're talking multi-core, high bandwidth RAM, neural engine. You can just take a look on the screen here. There is so much that they are looking at. The chip that we saw demoed was called the A15Z, if I recall correctly. Don't have much more for you at this point. Fall 2020 is when Apple is looking to release their first products based on their dedicated silicon. It looks like YouTube is going to try and take on TikTok. They're going to be launching an app that allows users to post 15-second videos that, is targeted at taking on TikTok. Sounds like Vines to me, right? Weren't Vines like 10 or 15 seconds in length as well? I don't know. Reinventing the wheel? A couple weeks ago, we announced that there were some leaks surrounding Samsung's Galaxy Watch 3. And now we have a look at what could be an official render of the Galaxy Watch 3. This is supposedly the 45mm model. We've got a model number on the back of the watch face. Watch body, rather, sorry. Looks pretty stylish, I gotta say. So certainly not disappointed with the design. We'll have to wait and see what the feature list is and how Samsung is going to differentiate this from all of the previous watches and its competitors. Google Photos has undergone a revamp and a redesign and a rethink for 2020, starting with a brand new logo. And then we get a cool little feature that allows you to poke around on a map. And there are little pins everywhere you've taken a photo on the map, and you get to look at the photos that you took in that location. And I know that if you look at Google News and you read some of the headlines, people are excited about that, and so they should be. But I've been on Android since 2010. Google Photos did this in the past. I don't know how many of you remember this, but you were able to pull up a map in Google Photos and poke around and scroll around and see pins everywhere you took a photo. So this is just bringing back old functionality in my mind. Happy to have it back though. New design. The interface has been refined a little more information has been brought to the forefront to make it a little easier to use certain features in Google Photos instead of having them hidden away or just sort of these obscure icons that you're not quite sure what you're doing with. And lastly for today, we're going to circle back to TikTok. It was just a week ago, days, since we saw iOS 14 and the announcement that we could be beta testers. Well, iOS 14 has successfully busted its first app. TikTok, on at least iOS, we are waiting for confirmation about Android, is apparently copying the clipboard of users, or copying whatever users are typing every 1 to 3 words to the clipboard, and then pasting it into the app, or pasting it somewhere. I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what's happening, but I can tell you that basically TikTok is scraping your clipboard and recording it somewhere and probably sending it back to some home server that analyzes it, creates a profile for you, and uses that to kind of cater content to you on TikTok, if I had to go out on a limb and guess. Huge privacy issue. Clearly, Apple's commitment to privacy that they made claims about earlier this week at their WWDC keynote, well, the proof is in the pudding, right? It's been out less than a week and it's already busted its first app for huge privacy infringement. That's it for the Weekly Bytes today and this week. We'll be back again next week with another episode. Stay tuned for a new episode about our network refresh in the, should I call it a home office, nearline enterprise home? I'm not quite sure. Our servers at home and enterprise gear at home project is getting a refresh on the networking side of things. So stay tuned early next week for our video on that. We take everything out of the boxes, we see what we got, and that's step 1. Step 2, another episode following after that will be actually deploying the equipment, configuring it, and a third episode probably on performance and how well we can leverage it and what the differences have been experience-wise over our existing equipment. So with that, I'm going to wish you guys a good night, a good day, a good morning, wherever you are in the world. Don't forget to check us out on social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, and yes, sadly, we're on TikTok as well. So check us out, subscribe, be sure to tune in because we do post unboxings, new things, interest pieces, personal opinions, votes and polls, news, stuff that can't wait for Friday. Have a great day. Ciao.